what's on the agenda. We'll go over the Traurig Library, we'll go over research skills, we'll go over academic journals and what they look like and how you can differentiate them, and we'll go through a little Q&A. I will diverge a little off the beaten path, but that is just usually me because some of the research that we provide you is great research. I just want you to use it wisely and correctly. So what is the Traurig Library? It's, well, the school's library. You're accessible anytime. You had access to it 24/7 through the university's Blackboard portal by accessing the institution page and student resources. This is tiny for most of you, so don't worry. I'm going to blow it up by actually demonstrating it, but essentially you'd click on, if you were in your web browser, the little triple line, which would open the your side panel, and then you'd click on the institution page and then the library, and it'll take you right there in the student resources section. So using the key search feature, you'll be able to help yourself by choosing your own perimeters in your search bar to find resources you may need, keywords, titles, authors, things of that nature. So if you know what you're researching, if your professor has given you a book with a title and a author, you could go to the library and type in either or, and you should be able to find a quick search. Best way of finding a exact search you want, always, if you have the title and the author, put them both. Just separate them with quotation marks, and it'll narrow your search down a lot faster and a lot easier. But for the most part, if you're doing a paper, and most of you may be starting on your term papers this week, you will want to just look up keywords as you're researching your topic matter to keep yourself on a steady groove of finding good, valuable research that can help support your thesis statements and go over whatever you're actually researching. So keep that in mind, that a lot of you will more than likely be using keyword and phrases instead of titles and authors, unless you already know the title and author you're looking for. Now, you can also email and contact the library at anytime. We do have a live chat feature, but that's only during office hours. But the library is accessible through additional support via the library at post.edu. This will be the location you want to email for any questions, concerns you may have while scavenging the library. But go to the website, and then click on, go to the post. I'll show you. I always do, but you'll go. Yep, pretty much. Never mind. Marissa's already ahead of me, but you'll want to go there. You'll see the office hours. You'll be able to chat if you see the welcome to the library chat and it is accessible. That means you're in office hours and the librarian will get to you. But if no one is actually in at the moment, you'll see that it's closed and you won't be able to use the chat. So definitely, if you want to talk to someone immediately within the office hours, give them a call. If you're out of the office hours, email the library and someone will get to your question or concern as quickly as possible. Now, before we dive into the research skills, I'm actually going to stop sharing this and we're going to open the actual library. Now, there's two ways of actually accessing your library, and I'll show you the first way if you were already in your classroom. So let's pretend, did I actually? No, I did not. Let's pretend that you have access to your class. If you're already in your class, you want to go to the library, there's a couple ways of doing so. It's always going to be through this gray sidebar. The first way, sometimes, not always, but the first way is going to go through the course information section, and you're going to scroll all the way down till you see library resources. There's tutorials of using it, how to access it. This gives you a breakdown of how to actually access it, but you can also conveniently go into the side gray bar, go past your My Grade section, and just under it, you'll see the library. go ahead and click on it and it'll take you directly to the school library. The second way, and I'm going to scrunch that down for a second. The second way, let me just make sure I close that so I'm not in there anymore. The second way you're going to do it is from when you first initially log into Blackboard. You'll see, as I mentioned, that institution page on the top left corner. Go ahead and click on that. This will open everything you have access to in the institution page. You'll scroll down to student resources and then click on library. Now, when you access the library, usually for the first time, you're going to want to start by clicking on and I'll do that again. You'll click on the actual e-search section, which will take you to this page. I don't know if it does it every single time you log in. For me, it usually does, so I'm assuming it does for you guys as well. But you're going to want to click on students and instructors, and this will just code it according to your email addresses, and you'll be able to access it. But because I'm not a student, I'm going to click on this one just so I can actually access it and show what it looks like. And give it a hot second. While that's loading, I'll show you guys this over here. So this is what I was talking about during the live chat. So right now, I could actually type and talk because it does look like we have a librarian in at the moment. So all you'd have to do is literally just type your name, hit start chat, and you'll be able to connect to a librarian. If there was no librarian, this would be non-existent. It would basically say there's no one in at the moment. We'll have people back at I believe it's 8 or 9 a.m. Eastern time. So if you ever don't see a clickable box to type your name in and any questions you have, then they're out. But you definitely just start with a name, which usually is optional, but it always helps a librarian to know who they're talking to. So type your name first or last or whatever and hit start and you'll be able to talk to someone. Now that this is loaded, perfect. So once it loads, this is what you actually get access to. So you'll be able to see pretty much everything that is on EBSCOhost. For the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to go off of what my dissertation was because that's all I know how to research anymore. But basically, when you open the library, you have access. Usually, I always recommend clicking on peer reviewed for the sake of having better search results. And again, I'll go over peer review in a moment, but I'll keep this up because we're more than likely going to return to this when I actually start going into the information on research, which is pretty much right now. Let me just pull up. Where did it go? My PowerPoint. Give me 1 second. Completely lost it. Love that for me. Okay. Present. There we go. Is it going to start? Nope, it's not going to start where I left off, which is fine. So going over the actual research aspect and how to do proper research using the library. So by improving your own research skills, you're going to simplify the research process and become a better researcher in the long run. This is going to help you not only academically, but in life in general, because a lot of life is faced with having questions and not knowing the answer, and it's better to do the research yourself than just going off of naysay. So when starting your research, I hate this word, but it's the word we use, you're gonna want to start with what a lot of people quote unquote called pre-search. I just call it your starting phase, but to each their own. By finding basic information on what you're researching through a basic web search, things of that nature. So this is when you're just starting your assignments, especially your papers for the end of the term, what you want to research, what you want to write your paper on. Because let's face it, if you're doing a research project and you don't care about the subject matter you're writing on, your paper is not going to be that great. You're probably going to put half your heart into it, if any, and you may end up with a good grade because you did great research and you wrote well on it, but you're going to be bored out of your mind and you're probably going to abandon it halfway through and have to restart. So the beginning phase of researching and looking for a subject matter is very important. You're going to want to scavenge the web. You're going to want to really start with what the actual question is asking for. So most times you will have a set guideline in your assignments of what you're going to be doing your paper on, but you do have the option of your choosing your subject matter. So there is a little openness to it, but read your instructions first. That is going to be the starting point of your research. Once you understand what your subject matter is, then you're going to start the actual research and looking at if what you're wanting to write on is doable. Because let's face it, sometimes if your professor's asking for a 5-page paper and you get hooked on a subject matter that can only produce a 2 to 3-page paper, it's going to be really difficult without repeating yourself to find that extra 2 pages. So make sure there is enough content out there to write a paper to the standard that your professor wants. It's going to capture your source of information, find you good sources, like I said, you want to use, focus on deeper concepts into your topic of research, consult a librarian if need be. They're going to be really good starting points and helpful people to actually get missing assignment, like not missing assignments, sorry. I've been talking a lot about missing assignments lately. That is on my brain. But it's going to be, librarians are going to be really helpful in finding that research matter, to finding the questions you still have that aren't answered in the research you've found. Also, as most of you are probably doing, take notes. That way you don't have to remember exactly where you found the information, because you're going to need to quote your information when you actually put it in your papers, and having a quick note to go back to jot down where you got it instead of having to actually research and redig what you researched to find that source is a lot easier. Use keywords. Again, this is going to be your best friend. It's going to help you guide your searching, what you're looking for. So for the sake, I'll show you in a demonstration in a moment, but you're going to want to really think about what your primary target is when doing research, and that's going to be your keywords. So for example, if you were doing what I did my dissertation on, which was the World War II, the RAF and technology, those 3 keywords are going to be really great in a search. World War II, RAF, which is the Royal Air Force, and technology. Those will be really great starting points for that paper. This eventually, especially using keywords, leads to finding even more sources. And then you're going to want to create a working thesis statement to prepare yourself for your topic before you even start your final thesis and drafting it, your outline. What that basically means, sorry about that, everybody. What that basically means is you're going to want to start, and I always call it the bare bones. Start with a bare bone thesis statement. It's not going to be your final thesis statement. It's just going to be that one little sentence that projects you to actually finding your information. So it's going to be something on the lines of uh, the radar was a exceptional. No, that's too advanced. The radar helped the RAF win World War II because XYZ. That's a bare bones thesis statement. So you're going to want to shrink it down to something that's manageable to research, because the more information, the broader your thesis statement is, the more advanced it is, whatever you want to call it, the harder it is going to be to pinpoint your research. So start with a very basic, bare bones, high school level thesis statement. And then once you actually have enough research to write your paper, when you start writing the paper, then you could pizzazz up your thesis statement, make it a little more college level, and go from there. Next, you're going to want to choose good information sources. So this could range from books, which are both in print, and published in ebooks, which are electronically. These are going to be journal articles, both again in print and electronic. Newspaper articles, also in print and electronic. Websites can be questionable, and I will tell you why in a moment, because it falls under the other types where we have social media, wikis, podcasts, newscasts, videos, etc. Wikipedia is your friend and your enemy. Please, please, if you take one thing from tonight, the most important thing, do not source Wikipedia. I don't want to see any of you put that as a reference in your paper, and I do not want to see Wikipedia show up in your bibliography. These are a great starting point for helping you find your research. Wikipedia is not a good source, and I will tell you, I will actually show you why. And then academic scholarly journals also present a great source specific in the area of your research. They are literally written for the subject matter by experts, usually doctors, but sometimes also people with masters. That being said, going over scholarly journals. They are also known as academic journals. They have two names, scholarly or academic. These are better choices than periodicals, newsprint articles, because they are peer reviewed, which basically means that someone else who's an expert. So for example, Marissa and I are both doctors. So let's say Marissa was to review and look over my dissertation that I published for my PhD. She would then go on and write an scholarly academic journal on it, and that would get published, and essentially anyone would and could go through it and know that what I used in my stuff was pretty accurate to defend what I wrote, and that she would be able to be also credited, not accredited, but oh, Marissa, help me. You know the word I'm looking for right now.
I was half listening because I was typing in the chat. What did you say?
the your opinion on my dissertation would be more impactful because we both have that.
Expertise.
Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. So that being said, essentially because that you would basically have it's professionals, but experts in the subject matter who've reviewed other people's works and written on them. They're the better options. And again, peer reviewed is the process in which articles are reviewed by other, again, experts, validity, usually resulting in more accurate information because someone is breaking it down and getting further information for you to actually use if you need to. And academic journals do serve to inform, educate, share information to a scholarly audience, which is yourself. You guys are the scholarly audience because most people reading scholarly and academic journals are not your average everyday Joe. They are usually people in college or other professors and doctors doing research to gather information on their own papers and things of that nature. Uh, Again, if you are a person who on your regular old day likes to read academic journals, go right ahead. Not gonna rain on your parade. They can be good reads, but they're academic writing. It can get very boring very quickly. So academic journals contain abstract or summary of each article, and I'll pull up an example of that so you guys can take a look at what that looks like, because I believe the next slide isn't that good. Um, but they also are articles written by scholars, experts in the field, aka people who have masters, PhDs. Um, their author credentials. You'll also see technical or specialized vocabulary. It's not your everyday jargon of conversation. It's um, pretty heavy on vocabulary with more technical talk and academics. You will see sometimes charts and graphs in there. Not always, but sometimes you will. At least 10 pages in an academic journal. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you will find them to be less. You may find them to be 5, maybe 3 pages, but those are rare. Most of them are on the spectrum of 10 or more. Uh, you can probably, the most I've ever seen is like 30 pages, which is a lot, but on the subject matter, it depends. So it just varies, but at least you're going to see 10 pages. It's rare that you see anything under. And of course, there's going to be a bibliography or a list of references because they have also done their research and looked into the subject matter that they were writing upon and gathering to defend or argue someone else's argument. But again, I don't love the slide because it is tiny and I can't make it bigger, and I do apologize. But like I said, I will show some examples before you guys go tonight so you guys have a broader understanding. But essentially what it's going to look like, you'll see the title at the top, the author underneath, the abstract underneath that. Then you'll have the body, and oop, wrong click. Then you'll have the body of of the actual article. Sometimes you'll see graphs and charts, which is that right there. Um, and then you'll have the reference page at the very end of the article. Again, I'll show you guys another example that is actually legible. But there's also academic journals, and some examples are going to be the global market, social inquiry, sociological inquiry, journals of education for business, journals of American history, journal of counseling psychology. A lot of them, you'll see the word journal in there. Um, they're pretty straightforward, but you can't miss it. So keep that when you're looking into your research. And then if you do have any questions regarding the library beyond tonight's presentation, again, I ask you to redirect your questions to the library at library@posts.edu, or go ahead and call 203-596-4560, or the 203-568-1652. Ask for your advisor to get you connected to the library because we could do that as well. But that being said, I'm going to stop sharing again, and we're going to go over a little in depth of what the library actually pertains and why I absolutely despise Wikipedia. So let me pull up a quick Google search and I'll share my screen again. So let's say that you are actually doing a paper on the subject matter that I know best, which is the RAF, technology, World War II and World War I. I'm just going to put real quick into Google, if you were looking up the Spitfire, and I did not spell that correct, so forgive me. But let's say you were looking into the aircraft, one of the greatest aircrafts in World War II on the Allied side, but you come across the Wikipedia page. This is a great page to start your research. The question why doesn't actually fall into the text matter of the body. I mean, it does to an extent because all these blue highlighted areas will take you to another page in Wikipedia and tell you further information. However, what you're going to really want to do when looking at the Wikipedia page is skip all of this information and come down to, and I'll get there faster by going here, citations as well as the bibliography. These two sections are going to be really, really good starting points for yourself for finding your sources. Why? Because this is literally the place where all the information is placed for the article itself. So you'll see here, number 17, wherever that is up here, is Fleshman, Best of the Battle of Britain, Airspace, March 2008, retrieved. You don't really need the retrieved, but you need this information here. You need the author who wrote it, you need the title, and you need where to find it, which is going to be Airspace, which is an actual academic journal. And then what year and date it was published, because that is going to be which magazine or journal you're looking for. The reason why I do not want to see any of you use Wikipedia as an actual source and cite it is for this reason right here. I've scrolled past it several times, but I'm just trying to get back to the top. So this button right here, you see read, edit, view history. If you click on view history, you'll see every single edit that someone has made in this document. And the latest is as of September 15th, which is today at 3:21. Talking about something, but it looks like they added a source, but I don't know for sure. But you could see, since there's 500 pages of edits that people have made to this, as early, I mean, we're still in 2024, now into 2023, and we're only on page 500. So this is the reason why you don't want to actually use this as a citation, mostly because anybody can come in here, you included, and click on this fancy little button at the top called edit. I'm not going to actually start editing, but you can come into Wikipedia and put information that is 100% false or askewed. So the reason why you don't want to actually cite Wikipedia, like I said, it's a good starting point for finding resources and search information and things of that nature. But the reason why you don't want to cite it. Oh, sorry guys, hang on. The reason why you don't want to cite it is because, for the matter that it's not 100% accurate. Like I said, anybody can come in and edit this, and then the actual source is no longer accurate, and citing this would probably, depending on the professor, probably mark points off. I'm not 100% sure, because not all professors are the same. Some are a lot more forgiving, but I would just avoid using citing and just use the bibliography and citation section to find accurate and good sources that you guys can use. That being said, let's go over some journals and take a look at that. So again, coming in here, you're going to want to research, use a keyword, and you're going to, the first things that come up, so you'll see academic journal. I'm going to try and open this one. I don't think this one is a good one, because I think I've used this during the last time I did this session, and it totally was not a good source, but let me double check. Yeah, totally not a good source. So let's try that again. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, good. Okay, so here's a good example. When doing your research, and I did not mean to close that out, but when doing your research, if it'll load, again, peer reviewed to help you find those journals a lot faster and easier. But looking at this, so as you saw, the Anatomy of a Warbird, an ergonomic study of Supreme Spitfire. When you open it, this is your clue that you're probably not going to find it. Yes, it shows up in the library because it exists somewhere out there, somewhere in the online universe, in the Journal of the Australasian Society of Aerospace Medicine. This article surely exists. Someone has posted it in this journal here, and it's out there. You could get a hard copy if you can find it. But for the full text, when it says check for full text, 9 out of 10, you're going to click on it and it's going to bring you to this page, we'll say, of that you're being redirected to the article in 4 seconds. But chances are it's not going to redirect you to the article. It's going to redirect you right back to EBSCOhost, I believe. Yeah, it sends you right to ProQuest. And you can totally continue your research here, but you're not going to get that article. So whenever you don't see PDF like you do when clicking on this one, where it says access now PDF, you'll be able to open it and it should, in theory, do this and bring you exactly to the article. This is not a good or great example because it is in a journal. As you can see here, it's in the Journal of Diving History, second quarter 2024, volume 32. So this is a good journal to use if you were using this for a historical purpose. But let me find a good source that actually has what I'm looking for. And I know I've done this before, I just don't remember the name of the article. That's the problem. Okay, perfect. It's this one. So when you're doing your research, this is kind of what an academic journal really is going to look like. One connected for a second. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Thank you. So looking at this is going to be a really good example of your articles because when you open your journals from the library, you'll see right here, you got the title, and then under that you have the author. Sometimes you have where the author is from, how to contact them. This we absolutely love in the aspect of doing research. If you're doing a really heavy research topic and you see the opportunity to possibly reach out to one of the authors, attempt it. It doesn't hurt. They can these experts can guide you in further um, research. They can help open doors for you in other ways, and even small networking really does a great job for you. But after the author, you'll see the abstract, and essentially what the abstract is usually 250 words, a paragraph in short, of what the paper is about. This is just a summary. So I always recommend every time you open it, because for the most part, you won't really see um, the abstract. All libraries are different. Sometimes the abstract is written there in the search section. I'm gonna see if I can find one. I doubt it, but let me just double check. I mean, yeah, to an extent, you can see some of the abstract, but not all of it. This one is Spitfire sprouting in Burmese spring. Oh, I also do want to go over book review, so we'll go over that in a moment. But where is it? Yeah, so for the most part, not all of the abstract may be here, but double check it. because sometimes it will be. And you'll see that by reading it, you'll know exactly what this 13-page paper is about, because right here you'll see that it's 13 pages long. This is not everything. Well, it's sorry, it's everything, but it's including the citations. So in reality, this paper's probably, my guess, 10 pages. Yep, exactly. So this academic journal is exactly 10 pages, and then 3 of those pages are literally just the research. But going back to the top, again, the abstract is going to be a summary of what you're about to read. So read this first. If it seems interesting or that helpful to your subject matter, go ahead and continue to read the paper and find the key information that is fitting for what you're writing. Going through this, I don't think there are examples of graphs and charts, but essentially, no, there aren't. But essentially, what a graph and chart, self-explanatory, but it would be inserted like right here, and it would show the information that was gathered uh, mathematically or in a formula or something of that matter to further show what is being said in this article. And then at the very end, you have your, it'll either say references, citations, bibliography, things of that nature. Um, but it's going to have all the information of where you can find the person who wrote this and their resources. So you have YouTube videos, you have interviews, books like this one, you have other journals like this one. How you can tell the difference between journal and book. You'll see that the title of the journal is the title of the journal is in quotation marks, while the journal itself is in italics, while a book itself will be only italics and there will be no quotation essentially of where that was, unless it's a chapter that it was taken from. But those are rare. For the most part, you're going to see just the book in general. And that's really all that's to it with academic journals. I did also want to quickly go over, because there's only a few minutes left, book reviews. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it up. Oh, thank God. That says check. I don't think I am. Maybe I can pull it up here. Nope, not there. Okay. Read online. Do I have access? Because if I can, I do. Awesome. Okay, so here's a really good example of a little thing to help you guys do a little extra research, not just for your papers, but for your classes as well. So let's say, for example, that you're in a class that you're reading Fighters in Blood, the story of a Spitfire pilot and the son who followed in his footsteps. Your professor has assigned this reading to you. What I always recommend, because my professor gave this to me way in my program that I wish I knew about it in my undergrad, so I'm giving it to you guys now. If you're reading a book that is, say, 200, 300 pages, like this one's 336 pages. What you're going to want to do is see if any professor, other professors, PhDs, or other people in the field have written a book review. My best advice, read several book reviews. Do not just read one, but read several, because a book review is literally what it states. It's usually 3 to 4 pages of what this book is about. It focuses on what the thesis is, it focuses on what the subject matter is, and it's a summary of 336 pages. So my best advice when doing research, especially in books that you're reading that are hundreds of pages long and you only have a week to do this, look up the book reviews, get an understanding of what the book is about, and then open the book and find your answers to actually getting what you need to get done for your paper. Because if you don't know what it's about, you're not going to have a good time actually finding what you need to find for the research.